Beacon Dorm's team, Ruby, Blake. I'm sorry I didn't trust you guys at just. Jaune, of what they have done. Blake. Yes, I was afraid you all would judge me as such. Jaune then walks towards her, and she flinches, but he just puts a hand on her head. Jaune. Like I said to Schnee, we have no right to judge someone else if we haven't judged ourselves first. If it eases your mind, I'll tell you my story after you tell yours if you're fine with it. Blake looks to Ruby and Jaune as they nod in approval of her. Blake sigh the White Fang wasn't always the violent group that is now. Jaune. Yeah, they started out as simple non-violent protesters fighting for faunus rights. She nods. Blake. My parents founded the organization, but slowly over the years the hostilities didn't end as the Atlas government just as violently stamped out our rallies. And in response, some of the more radical groups within ours fought back. It was then my parents stepped down as their leaders and a new, more violent leader rose to take their place. I was still a part of the group after the divide, and I left my family calling them cowards for abandoning our cause. I regretted my decisions in life and ran away to change my ways as a huntress, and here I am. Jaune was patting her partner's back as Ruby was trying her best to find a way to cheer her up. Blake, I had a hard time hiding this from you guys, but if Schnee was in my team, Jaune, she would rat you out, no questions. The group was downtrodden by the bluntness. Ruby, I know Ice is bad, but she can't be that bad. Jaune, you'll never know the real person unless you've seen them for yourself. Rubes, that's life. Jaune, well, as sad as that is, and I know this isn't a tragic past contest, but my life was way worse than yours, Blake, so I can't judge you at all. The team looks to him for an explanation. Jaune, you know I was artificially created, right? The team nods. Jaune, sigh, but you don't know its purpose? They shake their heads no. Jaune, I was made in Atlas. That got Blake to open her eyes like dinner plates. Jaune, I only say my real name only to the ones I know I can trust. Can I trust you like you trusted me? Blake nods yes. Jaune gave a thumbs up and Ruby shakes her head yes in a rapid speed. Jaune, my name is Shadow, from Project Shadow, the ultimate life form. Ruby, Shadow? I like it. Jaune, what's the ultimate life form? Blake, Project Shadow? Jaune, I was made to be a weapon, and no just any weapon, but a weapon of mass destruction. They all gasped. Jaune, when I was 5, General Ironwood took me to be experimented on, testing my strength, speed, durability, and senses. And when I was 10, I was sent on my first mission to quell a faunus protest. Flashback. Mantle. Faunus 1. Down with the SDC. Faunus 2. Atlas are nothing but bullies. AK. Please disperse. AK. We're here to help. Faunus 3. Get lost, you tin can. AK. Please calm down and disperse. Meanwhile, Atlas. Atlassian soldier. Sir, the protesters are becoming more hostile by the minute. Ironwood. Send in Project Shadow. It's time for a little test run. Back at the Mantle Streets. AK. Please cease all action and disperse. Faunus 4. How about we do this? He threw a bottle full of acid, hitting the AK in the face, destroying it. Then something crashed near them. Ironwood had put Shadow in a modified Atlas armor, so no one could tell who or what he is. Shadow, to all protesters, this is your final warning, disperse or be neutralized. Faunus 1. You can't do that. You have no authority over us. Faunus 2. Go F yourself. Shadow, you have 5 seconds to comply. Faunus 2. Comply this. As he threw a stone as it just bounces off him. Static. Shadow, targets have shown hostility. What are your order, General? Ironwood. Take them down, all of them. Shadow followed the orders and injured or disabled any Faunus protesters in his wake. He stopped when a child stood in front of a downed protester with tears in her eyes. Fauna's child. Stop hurting my daddy. Shadow stared looking at the child, and then something in him clicked. He felt that this was wrong and he turned away. Ironwood. Shadow. Go back there and finish the job. Do you hear me? Shadow. Shadow kept walking away, removing his helmet and throwing it to the floor, revealing his blonde hair and red eyes. It was that day Shadow realized he was nothing but a puppet. Flashback end. Jaune. After that, Dr. Polendina, my caretaker and surrogate father, took me and his daughter and fled Atlas. He took me here to Vale to get me away from that life. I know that what I did was wrong, but it's all in the past and I can't do anything about it. But that doesn't mean I won't make things right. That's why I'm here to learn to be better. Well, that's my story. His team was in tears. To be simply made to be a weapon, to be taken advantage of. They went to hug Jaune or Shadow, whichever he was comfortable with, and they try to comfort him. Jaune, thanks guys, but I'm fine. I will live with all that I've done, but I'll move forward. Then they finally calmed down as Blake spoke up. Blake, can I ask you guys a favor? Ruby, you don't have to ask Blake. We're with you no matter what, and besides, how can I become a good team leader if one of my teammates needed help and I ignored it? Yang. Yeah. You're my partner, Blake. I'm not gonna leave you younging. Jaune, you can count on us. You're practically family now. Blake, I want to disprove that the White Fan was responsible for the recent rise in thefts here in Vale. I was one of them, and I know they're not petty thieves. At least we can clear some hate for the Faunus. Ruby, this seems pretty big for us, but there's no better way to lend a helping hand than taking out Torchwick. I almost had him when we first met. I even had help from Headmistress Goodwitch. Jaune. So what happened? Ruby. He escaped with help from a woman who can spam fire. Yang. He just got lucky. Blake. Well, if he's the one behind these robberies, it may clear the White Fang's name, even if by a bit. Jaune. Not to be pessimistic, but how do you propose we find out? Blake. Maybe we can snoop around. People gossip, maybe we can find out that way. Yang. I'll save you the trouble. I know of a place that brokers information we can find out there. Jaune. We'll head out first thing on the morning. Let's get some rest and get ready.
Ruby. Okay, Jon I'm bushed.
Yang. I could use a beauty rest. Blake. Not such a bad idea. The team prepares for a new adventure.